Hello, everybody. It is Tuesday, the 6th of August. Who was the father of Jesus? I'm going all the way out. All the way out. Now, there is a pathway of your thoughts that are built of knowledge that you have gathered. Yeah? And it is a tree of knowledge that you are building through the knowledge that you gather. Now, I've stayed pretty much from the beginning in the same tree of knowledge, in the Judeo-Christian tradition, not staying within the confines of the church, most definitely not. I went straight out of where I shouldn't have gone, wasn't allowed to go. But basically, I stayed on that pathway. And then you gather knowledge and sometimes you branch out, into thoughts. And they lead to conclusions and, this is not it. There's something there, but that is not it. You go back into the trunk and you go further up. So yesterday I went down one of the branches made out of puzzle pieces, out of thoughts, and I reached a conclusion. Not written in stone, there's a big if in there, a very big if in there, but I'll come to that in the end. So, that's what I've been doing. And sometimes puzzle pieces come out of thoughts, come out of nowhere. Now, I've started a new branch when I was talking about the ancestors or the stored memory, the subconscious, the stored memory. Yeah? When I was talking about that yesterday, I'm not actually sure where that thought came from. But I'm going now with those thoughts down that branch of the tree. So, and I said yesterday, and I'm still saying that there are three places of stored memory. There are three stored. One, and I'll come to that in a minute, are what's described as the Akashic records. That is the library in the all, and that is the library of all. Every book of life is in that library. That is when Edgar Cayce, went into a trance and read books. He read the books of people and he brought them back knowledge, basically of themselves, that would help them in this lifetime. So that the Akashic record is the library of all books. And then Jesus is the book of life. That is his book. The story of his ancestry way back. People that now do trauma work, and they say they go into their subconscious in the brain. That is only this chapter of the book, this lifetime. So really it depends on what you're accessing, what you're reading. Yeah? The chapter that you're writing right now, that part of the subconscious, your entire book of life, which includes the ancestors, but that is really only your path. Or the path. You are the end of that path at the moment. Or the Akashic records, which is the biggest library of all. And again, you enter into that library, you should know what it is you're looking for. Yeah? You are asking for a specific knowledge. You should. Otherwise that thing is no good to you. So, right. So when Jesus said, the narrow way, the book of life, the truth is within you. that was the record of his ancestry. And then you say, when it says in the book of the Revelation, only those whose name is written in the book of life will be saved. That are those that are of the bloodline of the lineage of Jesus. They are written in his book of life. That is the book that he opened, the knowledge of which he gave. And as I said, if you want to look for that in the physical, I really think we're looking at our DNA. But that is the book of life. So, right, now from that thought, and again you have a foundation, and then allow your thoughts to go further, other knowledge that you have gathered, other things that you have heard. Now, at the moment, a lot of people talk about the time between when Jesus was a child in the temple until he reappeared when he was in his 30s. What happened in between, because the Bible doesn't say. Again, there's this thought that he was going around the world learning of all the different masters. Again, different schools of thought in different regions. And again, that thought, which is a New Age thought, and it's very much based on the Aquarian Gospel, and again, there is something, I actually read that. I actually thought it was quite good. There were a lot of good thoughts in there. So, the Aquarian Gospel, Louis H. Darling? Yeah. And that was published in December 1908. So it describes the way of Jesus going through all the different masters. And again, Dowling himself said he transcribed that book from the Akashic Records. Again, that was a knowledge gained on the spirit. Yeah? He accessed. So Jesus gained knowledge in those years. And again, like he went to India. Yeah? So he would have learned there the thought of the wheel of life, of reincarnation, and learned the techniques of meditation. And that's why so many now say, Jesus, that is actually not Jewish, that is Indian. But then they only see one part of what is happening in that book. And just because you have knowledge, like the techniques of meditation, does not mean you use that knowledge in the same way that they do in India, or with the same intentions. Knowledge can be used in many different ways, and it will produce different outcomes. And Jesus most certainly did not go and disintegrate himself in the all. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And I see a lot of New Agers now saying, Jesus did that. He disintegrated, he let go of all his personas and he went into the all. Absolutely not. And that is not the Jewish way. That is not what they're looking for. Yeah? Jesus did not go into all. And he said, the Father, he's got a kingdom, I'm going there. He was very focused on one outcome, on one possible outcome. Yeah? He was not his light spread out into the all and burning up. No, he was like a bloody laser. Pointed to one possibility. But he used the knowledge that he gained, no doubt, that it would serve him. Knowledge is given to serve, and it would serve his intention. Right, okay, now I'm coming to the Father of Jesus. So if we're saying that he went into his own book of life, the knowledge of himself, and folks, that is the greater knowledge. When people say knowledge of themselves at this moment, they are really talking about this chapter of the book, this lifetime. Yeah? There are others that say they have knowledge of other lifetimes before, so they're going deeper into the book, into other chapters. So if Jesus really went inside himself, inside his own book of life, the knowledge of self, further than this lifetime, down the line of his ancestry. So we come to Abraham. And then the book would suggest that Abraham was of Noah. Because, and here's the big if, where I can't say, I don't think anybody can say for sure. But it is said in the book that Noah and Noah's family were the only survivors of the flood. And therefore anything that comes after that must be of their ancestry. There's the if. Was Noah the only one that survived the flood? Because in that region, and then again we're only talking about that region, the Euphrates River and that region, which was Sumer. So was he the only survivor, and did everybody else descend from him? But okay, let's just say for a moment he was. Let's say that is a fact, he was the only one. Everything is descended from Noah. So Abraham is descended from Noah, and Jesus is descended from Abraham. So there is a direct line, a bloodline to Noah. Right. And let's talk about Noah. Again, the stories of the Bible, the clay tablets, the Sumerian clay tablets are the oldest versions of those stories. Yeah? Which is what is going on at the moment is idiotic when people say, no, you should not believe the Sumerian texts, but you should believe the Bible. That is actually the story retold. So you should believe the text that is a retelling of the story over generations, but you should not trust the original, which is a bit nuts. Right. Now, in the Sumerian text, there was a flood, and there is a Sumerian Noah called Sinzudra. Right. And it was Enki. When the council of the gods decided to flood the earth, it was Enki in the text that said no. And he was the one that showed Sinzudra how to get out. But there is something else about that story. And that is actually not just in the Sumerian text. It is also, and here again I've become a little bit fuzzy. I did read that story, and I think it was in the Apocrypha. And I can't check that at the moment because I haven't got it anymore, because I periodically have to sell my books when I'm broke, and I think the Apocrypha went that way. And then every now and again I rebuy them when I'm flush again, so I think I need to rebuy that one. Anyway, I think I read the story, I know I read the story, and I think it was in the Apocrypha. Now, and in there, it was suggested that Noah was not actually the son of, would have been Methuselah, wouldn't it? But that he was a demigod. That he was the son of one of those beings that were there. Because he looked like one of them a bit. That's what it says in the text, you know. He's got their hair, and in the text it said that they have a light in their eyes, which may be where our idea of enlightenment comes from at the moment. So it was suggested in even in the Apocrypha, that I think it was there, that Noah was actually a demigod. He was the son of one of them, those beings, by a human female. And the same is in the Sumer story, that the Sumerian Noah, Zinsudra, is actually the son of Enki by a human female. And then and then go back from there to the follow that thought back. So if Noah, Zinsudra, was a son of Enki's, and Abraham is of the bloodline of Noah, then that makes Jesus a descendant of Enki's. I bring you news of the Father, knowledge of the Father, in his book of life. His knowledge. My knowledge of the Father. Then the father of Jesus would be Enki. If you follow this thread of thought, as I said, there's ifs in there. And it might just be, again, you allow yourself to follow a thought, a trail of thought to its end. Whether that is, the only possibility, are all the puzzle pieces falling in place in the right place, and then that is the only possibility? I don't know. But as I said, I followed a trail of breadcrumbs, and that's where it led me. Make of it what you like. But, I mean, whoever, as I said, if Noah was not the only survivor, and Jesus is of a different bloodline, but going back to, in the beginning, a demigod, I mean, Elohim, the Sumerian gods, there were quite a few. So whether it was actually Enki or one of the others, could have been one of the others. But really, back to the beginning, if you go into meditation and people say Jesus went into the all, he absolutely did not. So that is clear. He was absolutely focused on one outcome and believed that you have received it and it will be yours. Yeah? And the outcome was not in another world. He disappeared in Jerusalem in the story. He reappears in Jerusalem. The outcome is here, in this world. Set different subconscious, different records. Those that do trauma work now, they are working on this chapter of the book, and that is could quite possibly be stored, I mean, both in the DNA maybe and in the brain. Or maybe, I don't know, but definitely in the brain. The greater book of life, of your life, is the DNA, and that is the knowledge of the ancestry. And then there's the Akashic records, which is in the all, which is the knowledge of all. And again, in order to access these things, and here's where it absolutely differs from the Indian way, because in the Indian way they say do away with all that you are. Yeah? And you come to a point where nothing knows and nothing is known, and that is then the Creator. But the Jewish way is you absolutely know you are a question and you receive answers, and that is something very specific. Out of all possibilities, you are asking for something really specific. That is a completely different way, and that is not the Eastern tradition way. Using the same techniques, quite possibly, but it will not lead you to the same outcome. Yeah, and then you follow the trail of breadcrumbs and see where it leads you, and that's where it led me. If he entered the book of the DNA of the ancestors all the way back, if he is descendant of Noah, and the story of Noah is that he was a demigod, then he would be a descendant of Enki's. Okay, I leave that with you. Have fun. And I talk to you again soon. Bye.